Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Biodiversity and Conservation. I am Subhalakshmi Raut from Ambika Prasad Research Foundation, India, and we are going to continue our series of UGC NET examination for environmental science subject, and this is the seventh part of Unit 3 Environmental Biology. Today we are going to study about energy flow in ecosystems. So, first, what is energy? Energy is the ability to do work like moving an object over a distance or causing heat transfer between two objects of different temperature is called energy, and it can take many forms like heat energy, light energy, electricity, and chemical energy. And the energy that we are so well acquainted with are of two types mainly: kinetic energy and potential energy. Kinetic energy is the energy that is contained in moving objects, means objects which have some acceleration have this particular type of energy, that is kinetic energy. And potential energy is the stored energy inside an object or an organism that is available for use. Now, energy is measured in units of heat, that is calories, or work in joules. And 1 joule is the amount of work done when we carry 1 kg of mass, 1 kg mass of an object through an acceleration at 1 meter per second square. We get the amount of work done, that is of 1 joule. And 1 calorie is equal to 4.184 joules. This is the conversation method. We can use this formula to solve various problems that uses calorie to joule or joule to calorie conversion. And here, heat describes the energy that can be transferred between objects of different temperatures. Uh, in the particular ecosystem ecology, we value heat because we get the light energy from sun, and plants produce food using this sunlight. So light energy is converted into chemical energy, there is formation of glucose. And but in this step there is a loss of some heat. And so heat actually is the particular type of energy that gives us idea about how the work is done. So when a substance actually absorbs heat, the kinetic energy of its molecules um, increases, and sometimes it may change the state also, like solid changes into liquid or liquid changes into gas. And this is all due to absorption of heat. And the energy for all the life processes is derived from solar energy, which is the main source of energy, and it is fixed by plants during photosynthesis and made available to all the other organisms like consumers as food, that is the glucose. Energy flow in ecosystems involves an interaction between the physiochemical environment and the biotic component of the ecosystem through a sequence of energy transfer from one trophic level organism to another. This means that there can be transfer of energy between the organisms of different trophic levels when actually there is interaction between them. and the interaction being the food chain, where the food is transferred from producers to primary consumers to secondary consumers, then to tertiary, then quaternary consumers. So through food, the energy is flowed in the ecosystem. And the concept of energy flow was first critically formulated by Lindemann in 1942. And the basic feature, there are two basic features essential for all the processes of energy flow in ecosystem, which are the flow of energy is always unidirectional and non-cyclic. Means the flow of energy has only one direction, that is, it starts from one point and ends with at another point. Like in the food chain, the transfer of energy occurs from producers to consumers, may it be tertiary or quaternary consumers. It ends at that. It's not a cyclic process where the energy is then given back to the producers, because when the herbivore eat a plant, they actually eat the whole part, like leaves, and then the leaves are digested by herbivore and the energy is assimilated within it, and the carnivore eats the herbivore, gets the energy from the herbivore. So this process carries on. But when the top carnivore eats another carnivore who have consumed the herbivore, it gets the energy, and but we cannot provide back the same leaf. So this is the unidirectional flow of energy, and the transfer of energy from one step to another is not 100% efficient, and there is energy loss at each transfer. And this is known as 10% law by Lindemann. During the study about pyramid of energy, you may have seen that the pyramid is always upright, and in that pyramid, you must have seen that the energy taken up by the producers is 1% of the solar energy, and uh, throughout the successive levels, there is 10% loss of heat to the environment. So if the producers get 10,000 joules of energy from sun, then the primary producer will get 1000 joule energy, and secondary consumer will get 100 joule of energy, and tertiary consumer will get 10 joule energy, and this continues on. So this is 10% law, and the definition, it may be defined as that during the transfer of food energy from one trophic level to another, only 10% is stored at higher trophic level, and the remaining 90% is lost in the metabolic processes like respiration in the form of heat. Now, the laws of thermodynamics as applicable to energy flow in ecosystems. As we know that all the atoms and molecules which are the fundamental basis of organisms are um, are the particles that contain energy, and energy always flows in one direction only. So the unidirectional flow of energy as a universal phenomenon is the result of the operation of the laws of thermodynamics, which are fundamental concepts of physics. And as we know that the constant supply of energy that we get um, to maintain our biological processes is from sun, and energy can be used repeatedly as it flows through the system, and it can be stored temporarily in chemical bonds of organic molecules But when the bonds are broken, then the energy is released to the environment. So there is always a constant um, flow of energy through the system. And the study of thermodynamics deals with how the energy is transferred in these natural processes, how we get the energy to produce food, we means plants, and the flow and behavior of energy in ecosystems is governed by basically two laws. And the first law is first law of thermodynamics, that states that the energy is conserved, which means energy can neither be created or nor destroyed. It can be transformed from one type of energy to another. Means light energy can be converted into chemical energy, or chemical energy can be converted into potential energy, like that. And the second law of thermodynamics states that no process involving energy transformation can spontaneously occur. Um, there is the requirement of degradation of energy from concentrated form to dispersed form. Actually, it gives the law of entropy, where entropy means the degree of randomness. Um, it actually says that if a object is in um, rest, then it has a more amount of energy. So we have to um, give some extra um, external force or some type of energy to activate it. So activation means causing disturbance in that object. So when there is disturbance in that object, there will be randomness, and randomness means there will be um, transformation of energy from one form to another, which will give us the basis to keep on doing work. Now, there are some processes of energy flow, and it includes mainly three steps, that is source and income of energy, fixation of energy by autotrophs, and energy beyond the producer, that is autotrophs. So one by one we will see what we have in these processes. The first process is source and income of energy for the earth. So where we get all the energy from? So the answer is from sun. Every particle in the universe gets energy from sun. So from the universal space where there is 100% solar radiation, some radiations are absorbed by the Earth's outer atmosphere, that is very less in percentage, and most radiations are lost in the space only. And then the incoming solar radiation, which have entered the Earth's outer atmosphere, is absorbed by ozone layer, clouds, and other gases. So there is reduction of amount of solar radiation when it reaches the autotrophs of an ecosystem. So maybe the autotrophs get some 5 to 10% or 1 to 5% of energy from sun, and only that percentage, 1 to 5 percentage of energy, is converted into organic matter that is then transferred as food to other trophic levels, and which maintains the structure of the ecosystem, that is provide energy to all the levels, trophic levels of the ecosystem. Now, we got the energy from the sun, and the sun has been the source of energy here, and the autotrophs now have energy. But what this autotrophs will do with the energy? Now, that is called fixation of energy by the autotrophs. Living organisms can use energy in several forms, but all those energies are grouped under two categories, that is radiant or fixed energy. Radiant energy is like light energy, which are of electromagnetic waves, and fixed energy is the potential chemical energy that are bound in organic substances, which can be broken down or reacted with something else to release their energy content. So here the radiant energy of the sun is broken down into chemical or potential energy by the process of photosynthesis. So we can say that the radiant energy is fixed into chemical or potential energy. That means when we combine 6 molecules of carbon dioxide with 6 molecules of water using the solar energy, we get 6 molecules of oxygen plus 1 molecule of glucose through the process of photosynthesis. Here, we are converting the solar energy, that is the radiant energy, into fixed energy, that is the potential or chemical energy, as glucose. So here we have the fixed energy, that is glucose. And then when the autotrophs have provided us with the energy, that is glucose is a energy rich compound which provide fuel for all the metabolic processes of cells. It is then broken down um, into water and carbon dioxide through cellular respiration, and it gives out chemical energy that in the form of ATP and also heat. So this is the cycle where the energy is fixed, and here we get a concept about productivity, like primary productivity. So there are two terms that can be discussed here, like gross primary productivity and net primary productivity. So gross primary productivity is actually the rate of photosynthesis during the measurement period, including the organic matter used up in photosynthesis. So gross primary productivity means the rate of photosynthesis, or due to which we get the potential energy or the organic matter like glucose. And the net primary productivity is the rate of storage of organic matter in plants tissues in excess of respiratory utilization by plants during the period of measurement. Here gross primary productivity means what we get the product after photosynthesis, and net primary productivity means what is uh, the amount of stored energy inside the plant tissues. So when we think about that, then gross productivity is net productivity plus respiration, cellular respiration, means the after respiration, which energy is stored in the plant tissues is the net primary productivity. So if in case where gross primary productivity is equal to respiration, then we don't have actually any net primary productivity, so there is no change in the energy content. But when the gross productivity is more than respiration, means photosynthesis rate is more than respiratory rate, then we will get a decrease in biomass. And when the gross primary productivity is less than respiration, then the biomass increases. So this concept of gross productivity is dependent on various factors like temperature, rainfall, solar radiation, and other abiotic factors. Now we'll go to the next one, third process, where energy beyond the autotrophs is discussed. Here you can see that autotrophs get 1 to 5% of energy from sun. That that means they get more energy from the solar radiation, and due to respiration, that's a little bit more in amount. More energy is spent, used, or lost, and is no longer available to the community for use. And uh, there is also other processes like ejection, excretion, or death of the autotroph, which provides the energy to the detritus feeders. And after leaving all these energies, whichever energy is available to the autotrophs is uh, transferred to the consumers. Here we get a concept of uh, secondary production. Actually, after the transfer of energy from um, autotrophs to all these uh, um, other like detritus, feeders, and consumers, the resultant amount of energy stored in the tissues of heterotrophs, these consumers or detritus feeders, the amount of energy conserved in those organisms is termed as net secondary production, where the gross secondary production is equal to the total plant material ingested by the herbivore, um, less the materials lost as feces. So the food actually passes through the walls of their gut, and the gross secondary production can be measured directly by determining the amount of materials defecated. Means uh, when the herbivores eat the plants, and the plants are digested inside the gut of the herbivore, whichever amount of energy or the amount is defecated by the herbivore, by subtracting that from the total energy of the autotrophs, we will get the net secondary production. So this is all from me today. Thank you.